Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back, and we are back at Married at First Sight UK. We are on series 10 and we are now on episode 6. Oh my lord, my lord, my lord, my lord. All I'm thinking of is literally, where do they find these people from? And it's the fact that they continue to take them at face value, like seriously, in regards to what they say they are looking for and what they get and they don't like. Anyway, before we get into this episode, as I always ask, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so we know I'm doing videos. Please comment, like, share and do the good things that you do, because I continue to be on the road to 1k. Right, so we're going to see what happened in the rest of the marriages. So we see Rebecca and Bailey, they're going on their honeymoon. Rebecca keeps on going on about this bloody alpha shit, and it's doing my head in, to be honest with ya. Bailey is angling for a kiss. Like, he angling for a kiss. He wants this girl badly, but he has to wait until she's ready at the end of the day. So he's seen that there's a spark for him with Rebecca. Rebecca is totally not on that bus right about now at the end of the day. So she's talking about how she don't want no labels, yada yada yada. And I'm thinking, but you married the man. You married the man, so the label is husband and wife, mate. That's all there is to it at the end of the day. So her talking about how she don't want no labels is a bag of rubbish at the end of the day. I mean, they're at kissing cheek level because Rebecca imposed that. So hopefully for them it can move on. It can move on. Otherwise, it's going to be very, very difficult for them. So then we go back to Julia, Ruth and Devani. They've apparently slept separately. And basically, Julia Ruth hadn't seen Devani since they slept separately at all. So Julia Ruth is saying that after, like, you know, that she'd said what she said to Devani about his negativity, this man became angry. Napoleon complex, as I keep saying, is a thing with short men. It really, really is. So basically, Julia Ruth is saying that he came at her very aggressively and angry, showing his anger. We haven't seen the footage of this yet, so I would be saying I don't think there's a reason why Julia Ruth would lie about what happened at the end of the day. Because, as I said, short man energy equals Napoleon complex. Yeah, because I'm a short woman myself and I can be kind of mean when I want to be, you know. That height gets pushed up. It gets pushed up, yeah, because I'm height challenged. My attitude gets pushed up. So I understand it. I do. So she says, like, one of her deal breakers is seeing anger and temper in a man, which is just for the cause at the end of the day. I agree with her. You don't want to see that day in, day out, especially if you're married to each other. So you see Devani, who's now explaining what had happened to the camera. And he definitely did do what Julia Ruth said he did, where he came at her sideways at the end of the day. Wasn't physically imposing, but was aggressively imposing at the end of the day, is what she's saying. But he's laying excuses down for his behaviour. He's not essentially looking at how he took what was said on board and then how it impacted him, and then he went and impacted Julia Ruth with his behaviour at the end of the day, because all he's saying is he felt mugged off. He felt mugged off. It was a tense conversation prior. He was feeling emotionally hurt. And I just thought, well, it still didn't give you no reason to chat to the person in the manner that you've been described as at the end of the day. It doesn't put Julia Ruth in a safe space with this man at all, if that's how he is going to go off when she decides to air her grievances. And that's going to be a problem between them, because if you want to earn respect and this, that and the other, you can't treat someone like trash. You can't at the end of the day. So Devani needs to fix up. He really, really does. So then we have another couple coming in, Paul, the older people of the experiment. So you have Paul, who is 60. He doesn't look 60. I'm gonna tell you that. But to me, he was giving off proper Peter Pan vibes. That's what I'm gonna say. He's got this like lovable rogue air, but he's constantly switched on 24/7, and I know that's going to piss somebody off if they're not used to someone being on 10 all the freaking time at the end of the day. So he talks about how his father left when he was 5, and basically within certain relationships he was desperate to find a father figure. And then round about 5 years ago, the Salvation Army had basically said that they found his father and his father was there. He decided that he was going to go and see him, but he didn't knock on the door, he didn't go in, and he regrets that to this day, because after that, when his son was born, his father had died. So it's hard dealing with an absent parental figure. It really, really is. People that have been through it will know what I'm talking about, but people that haven't been through it won't necessarily know what I'm talking about. It is very hard to go through life in terms of a parental absent figure, and especially when you want answers, but then answers won't come to fruition when that said parent has died. That emotion, it don't go away. It really does not. So he does regret not knocking on the door. And so him not having a father, basically he says, did affect the one marriage that he had. Yeah, it made him very cautious. So he's not dated anybody for 15 whole years. 15 whole years. I did question how he would get the nookie though at the end of the day. So is it a case of he has his needs met, or has his dick not been wet for 15 whole years? Does it know what to do if put in that situation at the end of the day? So for me, I think this would have been very much the wrong show for Paul to come on at the end of the day, because he is not going to recognise what makes a good marriage or what makes a bad marriage, because he's talking about like it was his behaviour that caused his marriage to end basically. And if he can't recognise that behaviour, then how the hell is he supposed to make somebody else happy in this experiment? How is he supposed to find what it is that he's looking for in this experiment too, without putting his shit on the other person that he's dealing with? That's the question. That is the question. So we then meet the lovely Anita, who is 54 years old. I'm gonna say from now, from jump, I liked Anita. She's a fire eater. She flies helicopters and she loves motorbikes. I love her. Absolutely love her. I aspire to be her when I'm 54 years old. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm hoping to retire when I'm 55. Let me just put it that way. I'm putting my eggs in the basket. I'm building those blocks to be able to retire at 55, because there's no way in hell I'm giving people all my twilight years. Yeah, all my years of working. And then when I actually do come to retire, me can't do nothing. Me can't do nothing with what I've got left. Hell no. I'm about enjoying my life now while I'm on this planet to live it. That's what I'm about. So she talked about the passing of her mother and the things that were difficult for her. She got made redundant the week before Christmas, and then her partner decided to walk out on her on Christmas Eve. I was like, well, damn. Paul and Anita have been through the ringer, but we'll see who came out on top when it comes to dealing with those situations, right? So all I would think is, in Anita's case, is how she would trust a partner again, given that her partner literally walked out on her on Christmas Eve. So I hope she gets, I was kind of hoping she got on with Paul, but it's going to take a special person to deal with the Peter Pan effect that is Paul at the end of the day. And if you've watched it, you know what the hell I'm talking about at the end of the day. So Anita's talking about how she wants a silver fox. Paul is definitely silver, but he ain't no fox. He's good. He's a good looking chap. I ain't gonna say he ain't a good looking chap. He is, but he definitely ain't no fox at the end of the day. Not the silver fox that she's thinking about. Okay. Paul is funny. I'm gonna give him that. He is funny at times, but I really think he's going to annoy the hell out of Anita. That's all I'm gonna say. He's too much of a joker. Very much too much of a joker. So he's brought Emily, whose daughter's with him, and she talks to the camera and she explains a bit about what her dad is like, that he's loud and he's eccentric, and that she hopes that he has a match that can get past her dad blurting out stuff. I thought, oh fuck, he's going to be hard work already. He really is. I can see it coming. So here it goes. So as they're at the altar, Paul can't help but keep cracking jokes. let's just say Anita was not finding them funny. She really was not. Her daughter-in-law, Anita's daughter-in-law, when she spoke to the camera, was hoping Paul will have a serious side, because currently she's kind of thinking that, you know what, he's too much of a joker. This is the air that Paul gives himself. He doesn't take himself seriously, which is not what Anita wanted at the end of the day. So when it goes to first look, he does like her. He does. I would say they're okay. They were okay with each other. Paul was okay a little bit, only when he asked the names, and then that was it. And then this man can't stop for a minute saying things like, "Where do I sign, mate? Please." And I'm like, mate, slow your roll, slow your roll. Let her get used to who you are before you show her this part of yourself at the end of the day. Anita was not on his level. Like, seriously not on his level. He is not the type, as she said, that she would normally gravitate towards. Oh God, not another one. This is why I said at the beginning, where are they finding these people from? What is it that stands out on that application that makes them choose them and then pair them together? Like, see, I would really like to know. I'd really like to know what the experts are doing and what they're looking at. So the officiant turned around and asked Anita, "Well, are you ready?" As in, like, getting them married. Anita stood there for the longest and went, I was like, yeah, that was your cue right there, Anita, to run for the motherfucking hills at the end of the day. So Paul is definitely a joker, but he can't rein that shit in. All I would say is at least he is being himself. He's very much being himself. It's up to Anita as to how much she can stand of him being himself. Because I kept on thinking through the whole wedding, does this man ever get serious? Anita did laugh at some points, but then it got to the point where it was like, okay, let's get a little bit deeper, calm that shit down. Do you know what I mean? But he didn't at all. So we go back to Rebecca and Bailey, and she's happy with the pace. She's looking more at friends than anything else. As again, this is not Friendship Island, it's Marriage Island. So do with that what you will. So then we go back to Julia, Ruth and Devani. So Devani feels like, you know, the space that they had was needed. He did reflect when he was talking to her and says there was miscommunication, but I would say you got too angry with her, mate. At the end of the day, you made her feel unsafe, and that's what Devani needs to recognise. But Julia Ruth did have a dinner with him and everything like that. So Devani did say that he missed her. And I must say, from looking to them at the dinner, from how Julia Ruth presented firstly, she'd lost her spark. She lost her spark, like, and she looked seconds away from crying and bolting from the room. So instead of Devani, like, starting in with the elevated levels, starting in with the, like, what he did wrong and how he would change that, and he's apologising, he started talking about how there was elevated levels of stress. And I thought, well, you should have apologised to Julia Ruth first for your behaviour instead of trying to explain it away at the end of the day. So Julia Ruth did say that there was no need for that situation to happen. And again, instead of Devani listening to actually hear what it is that she said, he was just going on about how he felt in that moment. And again, Julia Ruth had to say to him, it doesn't justify his actions. At the end of the day, you can be heated in the moment, but it doesn't justify your actions as to how you treated her. So he needs to stop invalidating Julia Ruth at this point. So Julia Ruth is good though. She did stand her ground and she did pull him up where she needed to pull him up at. And it was right at the end of the conversation where he apologized for how he approached her. He says, like, why he understands why they're in the situation. So he said he needs to give it some time and ask for her forgiveness. And she was happy with this. She really was. Because now it's not just about words, it's about your behaviour after that. So Devani gets up from the table and I'm like, hold on. There's a table full of food here. Don't these people eat? Because they didn't touch not a bit of that food out there. But he wanted her to come outside because he had a surprise for her. And I'd have been like, can I eat my food first, please? Can I scoff it down first? Can you give me a minute to eat and digest, and then we can go outside? But hey ho, went outside. He's got a keyboard and he basically said that he'd wrote a song, and I must say it's cheesy. It's very cheesy, and it was very much don't run away. Julia Ruth looked so uncomfortable. She really did. At first she was so happy that he got the keys out and everything like that, thinking she'd probably get an upbeat song. No, this man went straight in with the negativity of Don't Run Away, and this is what she talks about. Yeah. So at the end of that, she did say, oh, that was beautiful, but I'm sorry, but your actions and your face didn't compute that to me at the end of the day. So she said that she appreciates Devani even more, but thinks they have a lot to work through. I'll leave that there. I will leave that there. So then we go back to Anita and Paul. So they're taking their pictures, and this is what I mean about the photographers. The photographers are fuckery on this show, you know, like honestly fuckery, because they can tell when a person's not comfortable with the other person. So when they can tell that, they get you to go even fucking closer to each other. So they were getting Paul to nuzzle the neck of Anita. Anita was not feeling that at all. She was not. She was like, what? No, but he did. Anita's bored of him already. Like, honestly, you can tell it on her face that she's bored of him already. This man literally won't stop making jokes, and if he's not making jokes, he's making fucked up funny noises. I just don't get it. I really don't. So Paul thinks Anita is definitely interested in him. I don't know what book he's reading, but it sure as ain't the one that Anita's pulled open, let's put it that way. He thinks that they're two peas in a pod. You'll definitely be in a pod, but I don't know about the peas parts, because that's not happening. So Paul said like that they have potential for the future. Anita could not score her features at that one. She really could not at all. Anyone watching would have seen she was not flattered or enamoured by Paul at all. She was actually quite worried. But Paul, like, it went straight over that man's head at the end of the day. So then we go back to Rebecca and Bailey. So they decided to do like a Latin dance. So they were having some lessons. And this is a close dance. And all I'm going to say is Bailey was trying it. He wants her. He fancies her. Yes, so he's going to put the moves on her. So this is the part where Rebecca said that she saw the alpha side come out of old swivel hips Bailey. I was like, oh, so that's all it took for him to grab you up, for him to grip you up, to say, yes, he's got alpha energy. Is that it? Is that it? Oh, Lord have mercy. So now she's catching feelings for Bailey. Now she's feeling all those fluttery butterflies for Bailey. And Bailey did say to her that, you know what, he really does like her, and yes, he is catching feelings for her. I was like, okay, cool. Okay, he's as bad as Devani, jumping in too fast. Yeah. So then we go back to Anita and Paul. And Paul's friends basically say to him that he's punching with Anita. He says that he feels chemistry there with Anita, but Anita don't feel the same way about you, my love. No, she don't. So Anita does have a chat like with his daughter Emily, just to get to know Paul a little bit more. And Anita and Paul then have a chat as well by themselves, and he does share like some of his jokiness can be a mask in that sense. They do have a good chat. I'll put it to them, they do have a good chat, because Anita knows how to ask the questions that she wants to ask and find out the answers that she needs to ask. But Paul, not so much. He doesn't turn around and want like willingly find anything out about Anita. It's just literally Anita trying to find out about him. So Anita basically says that she can see that he's a lovely person, but she's struggling with the attraction part, mate. We can tell. Like, honestly, we can tell. And this is why I say people should not go in with expectations at all as to what they're going to get, because they ain't going to get it. They'll be very lucky if they do. So Anita basically says that she wants honesty, but she's not being fully honest with Paul though, because she is not allaying to him that she's not attracted to him in that way. I think she's going to ignore it for now and see how it goes, but yeah, I don't think that's going to come anytime soon with them two. So then again we flip back to Rebecca and Bailey, and at last, ching ching, ching ching, he got his kiss. Not no cheek kiss, he got no on the lips. He's buzzing, absolutely buzzing. So it's at this point where these two now are in close quarters because the people of the hotel do stick a letter under the door, and basically they've given a class 3 cyclone warning, so they're not allowed to leave the room. So basically they have to find things out to do with themselves and not get bored. And as they're now getting on, it'll be a little bit easier for them, won't it? So then we go to Anita and Paul, and they've gone to Cape Verde. Anita is saying to Paul that basically he has not switched off, like, at all. And I thought, mate, this is Paul. He's the proverbial Peter Pan. He's not going to switch off. This is him. This is him. Anita's face is getting a workout. Let me just put it that way, because the faces that she keeps on pulling is telling you that this man is literally getting on her last nerve. If he don't shut up, he's literally going to be out in the cold, like, seriously. So you see Bailey and Rebecca get dressed to have their final dinner, and this gives them space to talk and get to know each other. So I'm kind of glad it's working out for both of them, to be honest with you. And then we zip back to Anita and Paul. Can't stay away from them for too long. There's definitely no spark for Anita, and Paul won't stop. Paul won't stop. Anita's kind of pissed because Paul has not asked any questions about Anita and her life, but she's consistently asking him to get to know him. He does tell her about the fact that he hasn't had a girlfriend for like 15 years, but he has had sex. So that answers my question right there. I'm with Anita when she said it's quite worrying that he hasn't had a relationship but thinks he's ready for marriage. Paul then asked, right, what is he meant to do in a marriage? He has no template and he can't read a book. I thought, oh, mate, yeah, this is going to be a struggle. Anita's already feeling proper apprehensive about him. So Paul is definitely emotionally immature, completely immature. He's lovely, don't get me wrong, and he's jovial, but he would get on my tits in 5 minutes of being around him if he's that way constantly, because but people need downtime. People need to be not so jokey as well, and a little bit more serious, especially when it comes to a show like this, in order to get to know the person that you've just married, you've just said I do to, and walked down the aisle with. Do you know what I mean? Paul basically said to Anita that he is not sure what love means, and Anita asked him, like, are you ready for marriage? And Paul said he don't know what not ready is, and he doesn't know what ready is. I just thought, mate, fucking hell. Like, seriously, where have they found these people from? Like, honestly, where have they found these people from? And what did they put on their applications to make them think that this would work? Because this man is now decided to talk in riddles. Oh, struggling, absolutely struggling. So we go back to Rebecca and Bailey. Rebecca is feeling more energetic towards Bailey. She now has those heavy sexual spark and emotional spark towards Bailey. Let's hope it stays that way, because Rebecca is basically saying that he got his alpha out and it's made her all tingly mingly mingly moo. So back to Paul and Anita. Paul thinks that him and Anita have a good understanding of each other. Mate, you don't know her at all. At the end of the day, you've not asked her one question, not a bean, to find out who this woman is that you've married. Yeah. So Anita asked him, you haven't asked anything about me at all. Paul responds with, I don't want to ask, I just want you to tell me. No one's going to willingly just tell you about themselves, because that's just arrogance. Do you know what I mean? Like, people really want to know about you. You're going to sit there and someone's literally going to turn around and say, oh, well, this is what I'm about. No, they're not going to do that. They're going to wait for you to ask those questions, for you to be interested in how a person ticks at the end of the day. And if you don't ask her about herself, that's absolutely selfish on Paul's part at the end of the day, because it shows me he doesn't really want to know this woman that he's married. He don't want to know her at all. He's not there for no love connection, marriage type of reasons. He's there for something else at the end of the day. So Anita asked him, like, there must be some things you've wondered about. And he said, yeah, I've wondered about 375 things. So Anita asked him, like, ask me one of them then. Do you think this man does? No. Paul asked her, well, why can't you, like, tell me? Why can't you open up to me? And I just thought, Paul, questions are a normal part of getting to know you stage in a relationship. Anita has done been asking you a lot of questions, and he ain't asked her not one. Not one. He's not interested in getting to know Anita at all. He really ain't. So it's going to make this experience harder for Anita, to be honest with you. All I would say, people, is don't be a Paul. Be an Anita. Anita is sensible. Paul just does not get it at all. So Anita tells him that she finds it hard to understand his train of thought. And I thought you and me both, love, because I'm struggling. I'm watching this and I'm absolutely struggling with this dude. Let's just say this discussion became a lecture. And then Paul was asking Anita, well, what is love? And when she paused, he goes, oh, see, it's not as easy then, yeah? And then she turned around and she says, I want to be like those 80-year-olds that are still holding hands with their husbands and walking down the street and being da-da-da-da-da with each other. And he said, that's showing affection, not love. I don't know how Paul managed to twist this shit is beyond me. Like, seriously, Paul's not won any favours with me. At first I thought, oh yeah, he's going to be a good bloke, he's going to be nice, he's going to be, like, you know, very into wanting to know how to make changes in terms of what happened in his own marriage and why he's not been with no one for 15 years. But no. Paul's a Peter Pan. He's a Peter Pan, and they're the worst kind. I'm sorry, they are. They really, really are. They're never going to change. So Anita asked him, like, the $1 million question, why do you want to get married? Paul answered, I wanted a life experience and take myself out of my comfort zone. That's not a fucking reason to get married, mate. That is not a reason to get married. So it looks like he didn't join the experiment to find love. Yeah, he does it. It's not a marriage of convenience at the end of the day. That's all I'm going to say. It's not a marriage of convenience. You're not there to basically figure out how you work and how you would work in a relationship. Most people are there to literally find their person. He's not there to do that at all. And I do feel it for Anita. I really, really do. Because he said the key word is the experiment. But Anita's not an experiment at the end of the day. She's a human being who's looking for love, who's looking for a life partner. And that's the reason why she applied to the Rotted show. I don't think I would have stayed after that, to be honest with you. I am one of those people, it's in the first moments, like, you know, if I'm sitting there having this conversation with you and you're telling me this, then I'm like, well, what's the point? Honestly, what is the point? But that is where this episode ended, and I'll be back in quick succession with the next episode. As I always say, my renegades, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so we know when I do videos. Please comment, like, share, and do the good things that you do, because I continue to be on the road to 1k. Peace out.